Because Office 365 is a cloud-based service, we rely on Microsoft to maintain the security environment for your data which is stored in Office 365. Often the least secure route to gaining access to your data is through your users. It is important, therefore, for you to think about the password policy that your users comply with when connecting to Office 365. In this video, we will explore why this is important and how to configure your Office 365 password expiration policy. The likelihood that a password can become compromised increases with the amount of time that the password is in use. So it is important to consider your password expiration policy, as this helps maintain data security. If left to user choice, your users would probably prefer never to change their password. But I'm sure you can appreciate that this is not a very safe idea and is not recommended practice. We should therefore configure Office 365 password policy, which defines the cadence for how often your users need to change their passwords. With Office 365, you only have two settings to choose from. These are that all passwords never expire, or you can select the number of days before passwords will expire. Let's take a look at these two options. You can configure Office 365 passwords to never expire. This is not recommended for production environments, and it may even be against your company's security policy, especially if your enterprise is regulated or audited. You should have a robust reason for implementing this type of policy for your Office 365 tenant. The only scenario where I've seen this policy being used is within a training or test environment. If you decide to implement a policy where passwords expire, you can set the number of days before a password expires. The default is 90 days. This is also the password expiration duration that the PCI Security Standards Council recommends. You can also set the number of days that an email notification will be sent to the user before their password expires. The default is 14 days. A user can change their password at any time before the expiry. After expiry, they must change their password to continue using Office 365. These are the top-level steps that you need to configure a password expiration policy within Office 365. You need to log on to Office 365 Admin Portal as the global administrator, click on the Admin tile, and then from the left menu bar, click on Settings. Then click on Security and Privacy. On the Security and Privacy page, click Edit. On the Password Policy page, amend the settings in the Days Before Passwords Expire field. You can modify or leave the days before a user is notified about expiration, and then click Save. Let's drop onto our demo PC and take a look at how to configure a password expiration policy. We'll open our browser and then type portal.office.com and sign in with an administrative account. We'll then click the Admin tile. On the Office 365 Admin Center homepage, click Settings in the left-hand side. We then want to click Security and Privacy, and on the Security and Privacy page, click Edit. On the Password Policy page, we can either choose to set user passwords to never expire using the toggle, or if we turn this setting off, we can then amend the settings in the Days Before Passwords Expire field. The default is 90 days. Let's amend this to 60. We can also modify or leave the days before a user is notified about expiration. I'll leave this at 14 days, and then click Save. The password policy is then updated, and this affects all users within our Office 365 subscription. In this video, we considered the different administrator roles available in Office 365 and the levels of permissions granted to each of these roles. You saw how to assign administrative roles to a user, and then explored the options available for organisations who may not have the internal resources required to manage their Office 365. They were able to outsource this to a Microsoft partner using delegated administrators. Finally, we considered password expiration policies within Office 365 and how these can be configured.